and it ended up being an experience I loved the whole way through. The original Sonic Generations were already one of my favorite Sonic games, and now we got this amazing adventure on top of it. The stages in this game, aside from maybe the last one, were hit after hit after hit. Unlike the original Generations, most of them were improvements over the original, whether it was Rail Canyon's better rail switching, most of the time at least, Kingdom Valley no longer being a glitchy mess, or actually realizing some of the lost potential of Sonic Forces. I never realized how much of a missed opportunity these giant robots were in the background until they started firing up the platforms. It was really cool. The bosses are also some of the best in the series. Yeah, Mephiles was just alright, but the Biolizard, Metal Overlord, and the final boss were all amazing. Oh yeah, and beating the crap out of them is so satisfying. Aside from a few issues with controls not responding, I had an amazing time with this. It'll be interesting to see if Sonic Mania is still my favorite Sonic game after I complete the original Generations on PS5. The indie platformers have been killing it in recent years, with 2022 giving us Freedom Planet 2 and Sparkly Electric Jester 3, and 2023 giving us Gravity Circuit and then 2024 gave us this. I've come to realize recently that I'm a big fan of platforms where the main character is really versatile, and this game definitely has that going alright. Mainly thanks to the Berserk Orbs you get throughout the game. You have the Lightning Justice, which is the one you'll use the most, and it was really fun to use, especially when you're able to stomp enemies. That one I really found satisfying. You got the Flame Drill, which basically allows you to be the Drill Wisp from Sonic Colors, except without seizures. The Icy Kunai, which is using some fun platforming and making mincemeat out of your enemies. The Soaring Wind, which basically allows you to give a middle finger to most of the levels from that point onwards. And finally, the Mind Buster. Yeah, 4 out of 5 isn't bad. You get a new orb after defeating the boss in that world, and what I do like is that the first level of the next world, at least the first half of it, will be designed around that orb before mixing it in with others. That was really genius design in my opinion. And when you combine that with a soundtrack made by T-Lopes, it's pretty clear why I had a lot of fun with this one. Oh, this is something.
Bubble party.
This is one heck of a bubble party, alright. Yeah, anyone who saw my live stream of this game knew this one was coming. The game had me hooked right out of the gate with its tight controls and expressive art style. This alone already made the levels really fun to go through, especially considering most of the time a new mechanic was introduced. And all of that was before the Wonder Flower gimmicks, which basically allowed the level to do whatever the heck it wanted. Whether it was controlling an enemy, bursting out into song, and I love that this happened on more than one occasion, or the level just going on drugs. More often than not, the crazy ideas in the Wonder Flower sections were easily the highlight of the game. The best part of this game, however, overall was the online features. I streamed this game with some of my mates earlier this year, and we had an amazing time. If I can't make it, I might be able to accuse the ghost.
Yo, yeah, there you go.
God, I love cheating. Entrance.
Abusing the strategy.
Yeah, this is definitely my new favorite 2D Mario game. One of the best parts of doing YouTube is that it can often lead me to playing games I probably wouldn't have otherwise. Because if my mate, who was also a fan of RPGs, hadn't informed me that he was going to play this game, I probably would have missed out on this. And that would have been a shame because this is easily one of the best RPGs I've played this year. Now this is actually a bit of an interesting case, because when I actually describe the gameplay, it doesn't sound like something I would be interested in. As instead of the traditional turn-based battle system, whenever a fight starts, you'll have a chance to set up the tactics in a way that will give you the winning battle, and honestly, using this to turn the tide of battle in your favor is really satisfying. And when you're able to constantly do this and gain more of the battlefield, it became a really enjoyable gameplay loop that I never got tired of. And besides, even if the battles are automated, it was still fun to watch, especially with how satisfying it feels to hit these things. Like, damn, these are some brutal ways to die. Another highlight for this game was definitely the story, as it was absolutely full of surprises and plot twists. And both of these combined led to, in my opinion, one of the best finales I've ever played. The setting, the tension, the music, and especially the plot twist at the end. I won't spoil what it is here, but I legit shouted what when I first saw it. Whilst it isn't my favourite RPG of this year, it's definitely one I'll never forget. Yeah, I can see why this game won Game of the Year in 2021. Yeah, I've always been a big fan of 3D platformers. I'm combining it with co-op elements, made for a really unique experience. Me and my mate Subspace played through this game a couple of months ago, and we both had an amazing time and got plenty of laughs. Every level in the game was memorable and fun to go through. They all had amazing set pieces and really fun puzzles to solve. I always love that moment when you realise how to solve a puzzle. And finally, can I just say for an indie game that this game looks bloody impressive? As you probably can guess, I am excited for their upcoming Split Fiction. Jesus Christ, March is going to be packed next year. Oh, I was so freaking thrilled to see this series back. Back before my Splatoon days, I used to play the heck out of the Mario and Luigi series. So to see this series back in full glory is awesome, and I can definitely say this game is worthy of being part of the Mario and Luigi series. One of my favourite parts of the Mario RPGs is getting to see all of the new stuff it has to offer. New characters, new areas, new gameplay mechanics, and this game definitely does all of that alright. The game is absolutely filled with some memorable characters, and even the regular characters were full of charm. Are you even human if you don't find this wholesome? The islands are great as well. Like the characters, they are all memorable and fun to explore. The combat is the best part though. Having to use time button presses as well as having to dodge and counter always kept the battles interesting. And the new plug mechanics were really fun to use, especially when you can give yourself the edge in battle. The boss fights are also some of my favourites in the series. They tried to make these a bit more cinematic compared to previous games, and I can appreciate the attempt there. And finally, whilst I won't spoil here why, it does have my favourite ending in the series. While it definitely isn't my favourite of the Mario and Luigi games, though to be fair, Mario and Luigi Dream Team Bros would be an insanely high bar to clear, I am really happy to see this series back. Yeah, getting a PlayStation 5 for the first time was definitely one of the best decisions I made last year, as it finally led me playing games like Devil May Cry 5, Ratchet and Clank Rift Apart, and now I got one of my new favourite hack and slash games. Yeah, the combat was easily the best part of the game. The combos felt great to pull off, and successfully timing your dodges and counters felt really satisfying. And if you're careful, you can actually one-shot some of your enemies. I mean, I've heard of ripping enemies a new one, but this is ridiculous. Sure, Eve starts off pretty limited, but as you unlock more moves, she becomes so much fun to play as. The boss fights were another highlight. They all felt so grand and they had some incredible boss themes, with my favourite being Gigas, Stalkers, and one of the final boss themes. At the end of the day, this game gets this high just for being so much fun. To be perfectly honest, I don't think there's actually too much I can say about Super Mario Party Jamboree. Another Mario Party game. You run around the boards collecting stars, take part in minigames, and get f***ed over by chance time. And in terms of selection of boards and minigames, I do think this is one of the strongest in the series, and playing this game online with friends has been a lot of fun as well. Like I said, I don't really have much to say about this one. It's a really solid Mario Party that you can play with your friends online. Sorry for the short entry, I guess.
How can a man that fat mo-f***ing fast?
Yeah, this game was the main reason why I decided to allow older games on here, because holy shit did I love this one. Yeah, I have already explained why I love this game in the short, so I'll be brief here. Controlling Peppino was an absolute blast. Every move he had was able to keep the speed going. And when you're able to keep him fast non-stop throughout the level, it felt really satisfying to pull off. The levels are also a huge highlight here, as every single one of them either introduce a new level gimmick or a new transformation, with my favourites being Deep Dish 9, Refrigerator, and pretty much everything in the final world. And finally, starting off the game crashing all over the place, to eventually P-ranking these stages, was one of the most satisfying things I've done this year. I'm really glad this game came to Switch. Yeah, you already know what it is. Persona 3 Reload isn't just my favourite game of this year, it's one of the best experiences I've ever had with a video game. For starters, I absolutely loved the story in this one. It had my interest right out of the gate. Why is everything gone green? Why is there blood on the floor? Why is everyone in a coffin? It had my interest right out of the gate, and it kept me hooked throughout with all the twists and turns it took, because man does this story go some bold directions. And it also helps that this is easily my favourite cast of characters on the 3 games, and I had a lot of fun socialising with them, which I can now use to segue into the social life part of the game. 9 times out of 10, I had a blast learning about all these characters in their social links, and you got plenty of options to do, including stuff that allows you to increase your social stats, or you could just increase your persona stats at the arcade and break the game in the process. So some of the stuff you can do in the evenings in the dorms can actually help your characters in battle, which is also a great segue into that. Whilst every floor in the game is randomly generated, it never felt like it overstayed its welcome. And besides, most of the time was spent in the combat, which is easily my favourite part of the game. The moves felt great to pull off. Bringing over the baton pass mechanic from Royal was a brilliant idea, and the new Fuji moves are so satisfying to use. Because of everything I've just said, I had an absolute blast throughout my playthrough. But the main reason why this game took the top spot is just how invested I got into it. Once I got hooked, I could not put the game down. I ended up being in 8 days because I was having an absolute blast with it. And it ended up being an experience I loved the whole way through, making it easily one of my favourite RPGs. And that's not even including the Aegis DLC that came out later the year that gave me more of the combat I absolutely loved. So yeah, there's no question that Persona 3 Reload is my favourite game of the year. And it's thanks to this game I can safely call myself a Persona fan. Thanks for watching the video guys, and here's hoping to some amazing games in 2025.